Hey YouTube. Well, my tractor, for those of you who've been watching when I had the tractor going, was not running at its best, and I have determined that one of the injectors is probably bad or more. So what I did was I sent away for a set of injectors, and I'm going to put all three of them into the machine. I don't care which one is bad or not, but I'll keep an eye on it when I take them apart just to see, so that I know which one I'll hang on to. They can clean injectors and you can rebuild them, but you got to have special tools to test them, and I don't have those tools. So I bought, I guess this is like an unboxing. So I bought these from an outfit in Louisiana on eBay. So looks like there's 3 fuel lines. I don't know why that one's not in a bag, but 3 fuel lines, 3 injectors, and 3 sets of gaskets for these. So $243 with shipping to ship this to me. I don't know, it seemed a little high for the injectors, but the thing is you can buy the injectors at a lesser price per piece, it seems. However, they don't send you these gaskets, you don't get the lines, so altogether I think it was a fair price, I guess, according to what things are. So anyway, what I'm doing here, because I'm going to be draining the fuel system to the injectors, you want to make sure you have a fully charged battery. Now the other day when I looked outside in the morning, I had noticed that I left my lights on the backhoe overnight, so it's at 85%. I don't know if you can see that, 85%. So I'm charging that because I'm going to need good battery when I go to start this thing from a point where I have to bleed the fuel lines. So anyway, it's a 550 Ford, which you know, TLB it's called, tractor loader backhoe. So the injectors are right here, 1, 2, and 3. From what I can see, to change these, you only need 3 wrenches. Looks like 5/8 for the fuel line, 1/2 inch for the injector itself, and then 3, what is that, 7/16 for the backflow line that returns to the pump. So what I was reading is this pump here is like a distributor. It sends fuel at certain times. But the reason I don't think it's the pump is because everything I've read about the pump says the tractor would be hard to start if the pump was the problem. And this pump has been replaced already, and it seems like it's the injector more than the pump, because it's not hard starting, it's just losing power when it runs. So we're going to change these out and go from there. What I want to do is clean this up good so nothing falls in the holes that I have here. So this is my next project on the list. About I don't know, maybe a month ago, I put some engine cleaner gunk on here. It didn't clean everything off, but it pretty much cleaned off where the injectors are going there, so I'm not going to worry about this. It looks like the injectors were replaced at one point. I really don't remember, because they're blue and the motor is yellow, but that may or may not be true. I'm not sure. So what you got here is, it's a 7/16. Take that off. Got to be careful, this is a plastic line here. I don't think there's much pressure on this line. 7/16 on the top here. This one down here is a 5/8. This is the fuel line that comes in from the tank and feeds that through the pump naturally. And then you just take the 1/2-inch bolts out of this thing. These fittings here are known as banjo fittings because they're round. It's kind of like what you'd have on a brake line. But you need to replace the copper washers on there, or at least it's a good idea to. Yeah, I can't tell whether these are the same ones or not, but anyway, gotta see if I can if that pries out of there. So the book says to just pull them out. I'm going to give it a couple love taps. I have this. Oh man. Pulling them out seems a little bit harder than what they're saying in the book. Well now. I don't know if they twist or not. I hope I don't break it. Yeah, that seems pretty darn solid. Looks like it moved a little bit there. Maybe it'll come up. Yow! It's really on there. Alright, so I'm having a hard time getting that first one out. It doesn't want to come up for some reason. Now, this is the second one, and it came out fairly easy once I started to pry up on it. So, you can see there's some rust on here. So, I'm assuming that there might be rust in there that's stopping that from coming up. It looks like it's just a matter of, you know, working with it, twisting it back and forth, and maybe pulling up on it to wear some of the grit away that's on there to come out. There's really nothing holding it down in there except the dirt that's on there. It's possible that you know, if there's a lot of smoke buildup, but I don't know how it would be on the outside there. I don't know if this is in part of the exhaust port or not, but you can see that I mean, it's old. You know, you can tell that it's old. It says something on here. I can't really read that. I think it's just a part number, but I guess once I get the get it to move a little bit back and forth, I might be able to maybe spray some penetrating oil down there. I don't know. There's enough diesel fuel dripping all over the place here to oil anything up. But that's one. I don't like taking them all out and then having them all open like this. You know, it's just more places for something to get stuck in. Looks like there's a cork gasket there that has to come out. Or, I mean, more places for things to fall into. That's what I don't like about this. But I'm going to take that last one off there. It might give me, actually it might give me some more room to work with this thing. Maybe I can get something underneath that to make it come up. And the thing is, I had a good pry on it, and I broke the end of the pry bar off. I mean, I was pulling pretty hard on it, so it took a lot. I've had this thing for, you know, like everything else an old guy has. I've had it for years, and now I just broke it. That's not to say that it wasn't cracked or something from a previous pry. But anyway, I'll take this. Hopefully this last one will come off as easy as that one did. One day a freaking furniture maker, the next day a mechanic. That's what it is when you do things on your own. Never know what you're going to run into. That first one is really giving me grief trying to get it out. Like I say, I think just prying back and forth on it may do it. Although I could spray some penetrating oil, like I say, down in there, maybe that'll help it. I'll get you back on here when I get something actually finished. Alright, that's the third one there. And that one seemed to come out there pretty well. It's very black on the end there. I don't know if this might be a culprit. It looks to me like it's not really burned, it's just gook at the end of where the fuel should come out. And that's an extra thick gasket on there. Alright, so we were able to get these off. I'm going to put these back in right away so I don't lose those holes to something, or something crawls in there on me. Well guys, I'd say it's about an hour later, and you can see I have the two new injectors, one there, or let's see here, one here and one there. They're in. I just got to put the bleed off line on them, which is not a problem, but I need it to be able to move a little bit, that line, so I can get the other one out. Man, I can't get that out of there. I've been trying and trying. It's coming loose, there's no doubt about that. I've been trying to pull on it and pry on it, but I don't want to break anything. You can see it's turning side to side there, and it's wobbling a little bit. So that tells me that there's dirt in there that's letting it come free, but I just can't get it free yet. You can see it moving there. It just doesn't want to come out. Twisting. It is coming up though. It's up higher than it was before because I bumped it down again and came up. It comes up pretty easy, so there's got to be rust or dirt or something on there that's stopping this from coming up. Like I say, I was prying like heck on it, and it hasn't come out yet. Now when I pry up on it, like it's still moving, so I'm not sure what's going on with it in there. I know that there's dirt in there because all them injectors are the same. They slide in and out, but this bugger's just got some problems here. I'm gonna have to put something on it I can pull better. I want to be careful with it though. This cover that the vice grip is holding on to is really not that heavy. That's just a little cover that seals. There's actually fuel goes into that. So, just been giving me grief here. I thought this was going to be a fairly easy job. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Well, I guess talking about it helped that it wasn't going that high before. There it comes. Whew. Oh, now you know what I'm up against. Whew. Let's see if I can get this in here. Hard to grab a hold of that thing. I think it might come now, but I just got to keep prying on it there. It did come up pretty much though. You can see the, I don't know if you can see there's a bolt in there that, let me see what you're looking at here. There's a bolt right here where my finger is, a head bolt. It's way up above that. Before it wasn't above that. Get a grip on this thing. And it's up about 3/8 of an inch or so. Can't quite get under there. Okay guys, so I finally got it out. It, whew, man oh man, that was a job. It's just got crud around it. That's what the problem was. It's nothing major, but you can see how black that is there. I don't know if it was firing or not or whatever, but I have no way of checking these at this point. Now, the one thing that I don't like is that the copper washer that's at the bottom of that didn't come with this. Okay, it's right there. Oh, alright. Now I might be able to pull that out of there. I hope. I gotta get something that's gonna do this the first time. Okay, so that's the washer that was down in there. It's a seal, so I got that out. So now I can put that last one in there. Wow, what a job that was trying to get that out of there. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like putting it in. This is the copper gasket. It's like a crushed gasket, and then this is a cork fiber type thing that goes on the top. So I had put a very tiny little bit of Permatex, not even Permatex, it's the thinner stuff, on here just to hold that on so I can get it in there without a whole lot of nonsense. But from what I see, it's not really an issue getting it in. So there it goes. So it's just a matter of the dirt on that other one to clean it up. Alright, I'm going to wire brush the bolts off and I'll get back to you then. Okay, so what I did was I took these bolts over to my grinder. I have a grinder with a brush on it, and just brushed off the threads so that they're clean. I'm not going to put anything on these threads. There was nothing on them when I took them out, and they're not really going to be that tight in there because you got that cork or that fiber piece under there. So I'm going to check out what the torque is on that in a little bit. I'm not going to do it right now. I have to go look at it, but well, I'm pretty good at guessing what the torque after doing it for a while. And just even up both sides so it, and you can tell when it's getting compressed in there. It should be good for now. I'm going to put this line back on here. Just want to make sure that there's nothing in there. It's like a ball type fitting in there, sort of. It's a compression fitting, but it's not a flared fitting. There's like a ball on the end of this. So I'm not going to change the lines right now either, because I'm having problems with any of the lines leaking. I'll just save those for some other day that I have not so much work to do before I need to get it running. So let me see what you guys are seeing here. Okay, I think right there I should be able to go to the next step. Alright, so then this line, there's three fittings. I know you're seeing this one the best. There's one here, one there, and another one up this way. So what you have here is you have it's kind of like a bleeder valve on a brake line. There's two copper gaskets there, and you can see the hole in here. So obviously one stays on the top, okay, and then one goes on the bottom, and then you thread that in there. That's the start. So we'll take this one out. Take it off, take one off, put it through, one on the bottom, and then thread that in. And the same thing with this. I know you can't see this, but there's one at the end here. And my hands are getting so greasy and oily. I don't even want to touch the camera, but Okay, so everything's threading in there nicely. What I want to do here is get some paper towel here and just soak up whatever diesel fuel's laying in here. Not that I have a problem with that. And usually you won't. Diesel fuel doesn't burn that readily. At least not on something like this, unless it really starts a fire. But I want to wipe that up and snug these up a little bit. I do have to bleed these before I can start it. And I'll show you what the book says about that in a minute. And tighten them up. Now let's see, where's my 7/16 wrench? See, this is where when you have somebody like Carmine here, you can say, where did you put my wrench? But he's not here, so now it's my fault. Come on. Well, I guess if you check your pocket, it's always a good place to look. Yeah, these are not real tight. What you're doing, you're putting some torque on there, and you don't want to strip them. They will strip pretty easy. You're liable to break them, in fact. So you just put a little torque on there, because they're going to have to be opened up anyway in a couple minutes to bleed the lines to get it to start. Now sometimes, and I know guys will have mechanics out there will probably be crying about it, and then some of them probably do the same thing. I could put some ether in it to get it to spin, and it might start, but nonetheless the injectors are out of oil at this point. So let's make sure they're not dripping. You know, sometimes you can't see that they're leaking, but you can, what I do, especially water pipes, and when you build houses and you put the little connections to a sink faucet, it's hard to see water, you know, that might be weeping without dripping. So if you put your finger there and then you look at your finger, and if your finger's wet, then you know it's still dripping. It's something I learned over the years, to be able to make sure something's not dripping before you walk away from it. Alright, there's a hose that goes on here yet. I think I'm going to put that on because it really is not in my way of bleeding this. So I'll put that together yet, and then I'll see what happens. Press that. Now I know that I'm going to have some grief here trying to start this. I haven't tried to, but it's because of draining the fuel lines, or not draining them, but they're partially drained. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this fuel filter while I'm at it, because if I'm going to have trouble, I may as well have it right from the start. I think it'll actually be better this way. So to get this off of here, all you have to do is open this one, 7/16, and this goes all the way through to the bottom there. Now there's going to be fuel coming out of here, So I'm going to want to hurry up with this because the fuel shutoff is way underneath the gas tank. It's very hard to get at. And the last time I was trying to turn it on and off, it ended up leaking and I had a real headache, so I don't even want to touch it. Now there's the filter itself, and then I'm going to just set these on here. Hopefully I don't drop them. And there's two rubber rings, O-rings, and 3 of these. I don't know why there's 3. I thought there would only be 2, but we're going to see what's going on here. Okay, it looks like there should be one under there, and one on here. So we'll put a new ring on this. Where does that go on there? I think this small one is supposed to go over this. Maybe not. Well, I guess I'll put this big red one back on here since it seems to be able to be tight. Alright, so there's a gasket in here. I'm taking that one out. I'm going to wipe this off, wipe this out, and replace that with one of these. Now this would go on top of this, okay, and then there should be one up inside there. Well, it looks like there's already one up. You can see how dirty that fuel is there. I'm just wondering if there should be an O-ring up here. There's a small one on there. Again, you don't want to even make that too tight. And if you wipe it off, then you can check and see there's a lip on the bottom here. If there's fuel goes into the lip, you know that it's leaking from above. So right now it doesn't look bad. And then there's a bleeder on here. This line here is a bleeder. Half inch, I guess that's 9/16. So we want to open this up until we get fuel coming out of here, and that means that fuel filter will be full. Now you can see there's fuel coming out of there. so we're going to have to assume that there's fuel in there. Okay. So far so good. It's not leaking up there. Alright, now there is a bleeder on the pump here too, and I'm not sure which one it is. I think, let me just get you down there. I think this is the bleeder right here, but I'm not certain, so I'm not going to bleed it without checking it. So let me go check the book and see what's what with that. Okay guys, so it wasn't not even near the problem I thought I would have getting it started. Apparently having the fuel pump having fuel in it, I didn't take none of the lines off there, so that was filled with fuel. Once I bled the filter and I went to start it, I didn't even have to bleed the injector. All I did was give it a little shot of ether and it took off and stayed running. Now it doesn't look like anything's leaking. I'm going to check this one here. It's a little wet there. I want to tighten up on them little nuts up here, these bolts, just to make sure that that's not leaking. The good thing is that it's running, and you can see there's no smoke coming out of it. You can see how bad the frame was sooted from the last couple of weeks of it running. But it sounds pretty good. I don't want to break these. There was a little bit of sauce or pressure coming out of the side here, but I tightened these down and it stopped. So I think it's going to be alright. I'm going to take it for a little ride and run it a little bit.